Have you ever stopped to wonder if the wonders of the ancient world, those colossal structures and knowledge that defy our understanding, weren't solely the work of human hands? What if behind the veils of history, there was an influence that came from far beyond the stars? Prepare yourself for a journey that will shake your certainties and expand your mind. Join me as I delve deep into history to reveal 5 bizarre cases of alien influence in the trajectory of humanity. From the Pyramids of Egypt, which align with distant constellations in a way that still intrigues Egyptologists, to the enigmatic Nazca Lines, which can only be fully appreciated from the sky, the history of humanity is full of mysteries that defy conventional explanations. For centuries, archaeologists, historians, and scientists have pored over these enigmas, seeking answers that fit within our linear understanding of human development. However, some of these wonders seem to transcend the technological capabilities and knowledge that supposedly existed in their respective eras. It is at this point that the human mind, always curious and eager to unravel the unknown, begins to flirt with the possibility that something more, something extraordinary, may have played a role. Something that came from a place very, very distant. Something that perhaps was not of this world. Today we're going to unravel 5 of these jaw-dropping cases, where alien intervention isn't just a fringe theory, but a fascinating lens through which we can re-examine the past, and who knows, our own place in the cosmos. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about the rise of civilizations and the true origin of some of humanity's greatest achievements. The twists will be unexpected, and the implications profound. It's natural that, upon hearing about alien intervention in ancient civilizations, the first reaction is one of skepticism. After all, traditional science and archaeology strive to explain every finding, every monument, every technological advancement within the limits of what we consider possible for human capacity at the time. And, in fact, many of these explanations are convincing and based on solid evidence. However, there are certain anomalies, certain what-ifs that persist, challenging conventional narratives and leaving an intriguing gap in our understanding. Why, for example, do cultures separated by vast geographical and temporal distances share surprisingly similar architectural motifs and mythologies? How did civilizations that, according to our records, did not possess the tools or knowledge for such a feat erect structures of millimeter-level precision and monumental scale? Skepticism is a valuable tool, a shield against gullibility, but it can also be a barrier to exploring possibilities that, at first glance, seem fantastical. It's crucial that when we approach these unusual theories, we do so with an open mind, willing to examine the evidence without prejudice. It's not about discarding science, but about recognizing that human knowledge is constantly evolving, and that what seems impossible today, tomorrow, may be the key to unlocking the greatest mysteries of the universe. By considering the hypothesis of extraterrestrial intervention, we are not just speculating about visitors from other worlds, we are allowing ourselves to question the limits of our own history, our own capacity, and, perhaps, our own origin. It's an invitation to look at the past with new eyes, to see the stars not just as distant points in the sky, but as possible starting points for those who one day may have walked among us, leaving behind a legacy that we are still trying to decipher. True wisdom lies not in having all the answers, but in asking the right questions, even if they lead us to unknown and sometimes uncomfortable places. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. Sacsayhuaman, the Cyclopean Fortress. In the Peruvian Andes, on the outskirts of the ancient Inca capital of Cusco, stands a fortress that defies conventional logic and engineering, Sacsayhuaman. Its walls are a testament to a constructive skill that borders on the impossible. Cyclopean stone blocks, some weighing an impressive 360 tons, were carved with a precision that rivals a modern laser and fitted into each other like the pieces of a cosmic puzzle. The most intriguing thing is that these stones were transported for more than 32 kilometers through mountainous and rugged terrain before being erected and positioned with an accuracy that makes us question, how? How did a civilization that, according to history, did not have the wheel or advanced metal tools manage to accomplish such a feat? The official explanation points to Inca ingenuity, which was indeed remarkable. Archaeologists have discovered traces of rope and lever systems, suggesting that brute force and empirical knowledge were sufficient. But for many, this explanation seems insufficient for the magnitude of the work, the precision of the cuts, the way the stones fit together without the need for mortar, and the colossal scale of the construction fuel the theory that the Incas may have had a little help from non-terrestrial architects. Could Sacsayhuaman be a legacy of a superior technology, a gift, or an instruction left by beings who mastered laws of physics that we are still unraveling? The vision of a fortress built with such perfection in such a remote location evokes the image of a cosmic instruction manual, an alien blueprint that guided human hands in the creation of something truly monumental. With every stone, every fit, every perfect angle, the question echoes. Could this be the signature of an intelligence that transcends our own, a silent reminder that the universe is much vaster and more mysterious than we can imagine? The Nazca Lines, messages to the sky. Descending from the Andean peaks to the vast and arid plains of Peru, we find another enigma that has fascinated and confused humanity for centuries: the Nazca Lines. Etched into the desert, they stretch for kilometers, forming geometric patterns, straight lines, and colossal figures of animals. A spider, a monkey, a hummingbird, that can only be fully discerned from an aerial perspective. The longest of these lines stretches for kilometers, straight as an arrow, and the largest figures reach almost 365 meters in width. The question that immediately arises is, how did an ancient culture, without the ability to fly, manage to create drawings of such precision and scale, visible only from the sky? And more importantly, why? The conventional explanation suggests that the Nazca, by removing the top layer of dark rocks to expose the bright white sand underneath, used rudimentary techniques of measurement and planning, perhaps with the help of elevated platforms or primitive hot air balloons. Theories about the purpose of these lines vary: astronomical calendars, fertility rituals, or even ceremonial paths. However, the sight of a hummingbird hundreds of meters long, or a giant spider, perfectly proportioned and aligned, raises the possibility that these were not just works of terrestrial art. Could it be possible that the Nazca Lines were messages, maps, or perhaps clues left by visitors who saw the world from a very different perspective than ours? The idea that these figures were reference points for spaceships, or even landing strips for beings from other planets, is one of the most persistent and intriguing. Imagine the scene: a vast and silent desert, and beings from a distant world, perhaps with technologies that would allow them to float above the earth, instructing the ancient Nazca to create these monumental drawings, not for our terrestrial view, but for theirs, who came from above. The precision and scale of these works, which seem to defy the technological limitations of the time, continue to be an invitation to speculation, a whisper from the past that reminds us that not everything we see on Earth was made only by human hands. The Nazca Lines, with their enigmatic beauty and cosmic scale, remain one of the most powerful arguments for the theory that we are not alone, and that the history of humanity may have been written with the ink of distant stars. The Pyramids of Giza, a stellar blueprint. From the Peruvian desert, we travel to the golden sands of Egypt, where the Pyramids of Giza stand as imposing monuments, silent witnesses to an era more than 4,500 years ago. Built with millions of stone blocks, some weighing tons, these structures are a marvel of engineering and architecture that continues to defy modern understanding. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, in particular, is a feat that is intriguing. Its alignment precision with the cardinal points is almost perfect, and its astronomical configuration, which aligns with the stars of Orion's belt, has been the subject of intense speculation. How did the ancient Egyptians, with their rudimentary tools, manage to cut, transport, and erect these blocks with such precision and on such a monumental scale? Conventional theories point to the use of ramps, levers, and a massive workforce. But the logistics and ingenuity required for such an undertaking are still debated. For proponents of the ancient astronaut theory, the pyramids are not just tombs of pharaohs, but evidence of an external intervention. Could it be possible that the technology and knowledge needed to build these wonders were transmitted by beings from another world? The idea that the Egyptian gods, often portrayed with non-human characteristics and associated with the sky, were in fact extraterrestrial visitors who shared their knowledge with humanity is a hypothesis that resonates with many. The mathematical precision, the celestial alignments, and the scale of the pyramids seem to go beyond what would be expected of a civilization of that time, suggesting a mastermind behind the project, a mind that perhaps was not from this planet. The Pyramids of Giza, with their grandeur and mystery, continue to be a beacon for those who seek answers outside of conventional history books, a reminder that the truth can be stranger and more fascinating than fiction. Stonehenge, an astronomical observatory? On the Salisbury Plain in England stands one of the most iconic and mysterious prehistoric monuments in the world, Stonehenge. This circle of massive stones, some weighing up to 50 tons, was built about 5,000 years ago, and its purpose and the method of its construction continue to be the subject of intense debate. The stones, known as sarsens and bluestones, were transported from quarries hundreds of kilometers away, a feat that, for the time, seems almost impossible. How did the Neolithic builders, without the aid of modern machinery, manage to move and erect these gigantic rocks with such precision? The most accepted theory suggests the use of rollers, sledges, and a vast workforce, but the scale of the effort and the ingenuity required are still impressive. However, the astronomical precision of Stonehenge is what most intrigues ancient astronaut theorists. The monument is aligned with the summer and winter solstices, suggesting an advanced knowledge of astronomy that, for many, transcends what would be expected of a Stone Age culture. Could Stonehenge be an astronomical observatory built with the help of beings who possessed a superior knowledge of the cosmos? Or perhaps a landing site, a beacon for starships, as suggested by Eric von Daniken? The idea that the stones were positioned not just for terrestrial rituals, but also to communicate with the sky adds a layer of mystery that traditional archaeology struggles to fully explain. With every sunrise on the summer solstice, when the rays of light align perfectly with the heel stone, we are reminded that Stonehenge is more than a pile of rocks. It is a portal to the past, an echo of a possible interaction between the human and the cosmic, a monument that invites us to look at the stars and question what really happened in those distant days of its construction. Teotihuacan, the city of the gods. Crossing the Atlantic and entering the lands of Mexico, we arrive at Teotihuacan, the enigmatic city of the gods. This ancient metropolis, which flourished long before the rise of the Aztecs, is a colossal urban complex with imposing pyramids like the sun and the moon and a vast network of temples and avenues. What makes Teotihuacan particularly intriguing is its mysterious origin. It is not known for sure who built it or why it was abandoned. The city was planned with remarkable astronomical precision, with its main structures aligned with celestial bodies and astronomical events. Furthermore, the architecture and urbanism of Teotihuacan exhibit a level of sophistication that seems to exceed the technological knowledge attributed to the Mesoamerican cultures of the time. The pyramids, for example, are built with a technique that involves layers of rubble and stone, and their surfaces were originally covered with stucco and vibrant frescoes. The complexity of the material transport system, the organization of the workforce, and the precision of the alignments suggest a masterful plan that some attribute to a non-terrestrial influence. The very designation of City of the Gods raises the question: could these gods be the same beings who, in other parts of the world, shared their knowledge with humanity? The local mythology and artistic representations of Teotihuacan, which include figures with non-human characteristics and celestial symbols, fuel the speculation that the city was a point of contact, a center of learning where cosmic knowledge was transmitted. The grandeur and mystery of Teotihuacan invite us to imagine a civilization that, perhaps, was guided by invisible hands, by minds that saw the universe in a way that we can only begin to understand. It is a reminder that the history of humanity may be a much more complex and interconnected mosaic than we imagine, with pieces that extend beyond the borders of our planet. The most powerful evidence: the Orion correlation. Throughout this journey through the mysteries of the past, we have explored places that, from Sacsayhuaman to Teotihuacan, seem to whisper secrets of an era when the impossible became reality. But of all these enigmas, there is one that resonates with a particular force, one that, for many, serves as the most impactful evidence of possible alien intervention: the precision and astronomical alignment of the Pyramids of Giza. It's not just the fact that these colossal structures were built with an engineering that defies our understanding, but the way they mirror, almost perfectly, the stars of Orion's belt. This correlation, known as the Orion correlation theory, suggests that the Egyptian builders possessed a knowledge of the cosmos that went far beyond what would be expected of a Bronze Age civilization. How did they know the exact position of these stars in the sky, and why would they go to such great lengths to replicate them on Earth? Could this be a coded message, a stellar map left for future generations, or a beacon for those who would one day return? The idea that the pyramids are not just tombs, but complex communication mechanisms or portals to other dimensions is a thought that forces us to reevaluate everything we know about human history. With every perfect alignment, every stone fitted with millimeter precision, every unresolved mystery, the voice of the ancient astronauts echoes, inviting us to look to the sky and question: if they came once, what would stop them from coming again? And what else did they leave for us to discover, hidden in the sands of time, just waiting for us to have the courage to look beyond the obvious? This is the moment when the line between myth and reality dissolves, and we are confronted with the possibility that the history of humanity is in fact a cosmic saga, a chapter in a much larger and more complex narrative than we ever dared to dream. The precision of the pyramids, the mystery of their construction, and the alignment with the stars of Orion are not just archaeological facts. They are an invitation to the imagination, a challenge to our understanding of the universe, and a reminder that the greatest truths may be hidden in plain sight, just waiting for us to have the courage to see them. Conclusion. In this fascinating journey, we revisited some of the greatest enigmas of human history, from the imposing stones of Sacsayhuaman, which challenged the logic of ancient engineering, to the mysterious Nazca Lines visible only from the sky, and the grandiose Pyramids of Giza, which mirror distant constellations. We explored the enigmatic Teotihuacan, the City of the Gods, and the ancestral Stonehenge, an observatory that seems to have been built with an astronomical knowledge beyond its time. Each of these sites, with their peculiarities and mysteries, invites us to question conventional narratives and consider the possibility that extraterrestrial intervention, whether in the form of knowledge, technology, or inspiration, may have played a crucial role in the development of ancient civilizations. The evidence, although often interpreted in different ways, points to a pattern of anomalies that defy purely terrestrial explanations. The precision, scale, and advanced knowledge demonstrated in these constructions suggest an influence that transcends the capabilities attributed to humanity of those eras. What remains for us is curiosity, the desire to continue investigating, and the humility to recognize that the universe holds secrets that we are still far from unraveling. History is not a closed book, but a constantly unfolding scroll, and every new discovery, every new perspective brings us a little closer to the truth. And that truth, perhaps, is much more extraordinary than any fiction. And what do you think about alien influence in ancient civilizations? Are we alone in this vast universe, or is the history of humanity a silent testimony to cosmic encounters? Leave your opinion in the comments below. We want to know what you think. And if you liked this journey through time and space, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our next explorations, and activate the bell to receive notifications. We have many other mysteries waiting to be unraveled. How about checking out our video about the most famous UFO sightings in history? Or maybe delving into the secrets of anomalous artifacts that defy science? The universe is an open book, and together we can read its most intriguing pages. See you next time, and may curiosity continue to guide your journey.